like the broadcast, which is your offering. Share the broadcast because there is love in sharing. To invite your friends and invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And if you have done that already, right? Thank you. So tonight, we are going to start from the latest warning, even though it is becoming very too kind of like pedestrian. This time around, it is the warning from the Aare or Kakanfo of Yoruba land, Iba Gani Adams, the generalismo in the Yoruba's, war history is the generalismo of Yoruba land. He is supposed to be the leader of the Yoruba warriors. And in history, the Aare or Kakanfo is the man that is saddled with the responsibility of confronting the invaders. Historically, Yoruba land has been invaded again and again by the Fulani terrorists from the Sahel, from Futa Jalon, Futa Galon, Futa Soro, Futa whatever. Since the advent of Boko, the Daura Mannequin, and Yoruba land and the Yoruba people, we have paid the supreme prices on our own weaknesses. I'm talking about those who are supposed to protect us. Politically, they have chosen to sort of like sacrifice our people on the altar of political correctness. However, fast forward to 2023, where some of our people were made to believe that the reasons why they couldn't defend them, defend them from the Fulani terrorists under Boko was because the Fulani terrorists were highly protected, shielded by the Boko regime and the Boko army, the Fulani army of that time. However, just last week or thereabouts, the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, which is our own Solo Makinde, yeah. So Seyi Makinde raised the alarm by saying that some of the escaping ISWAP terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, including some Fulani terrorists, escaping from the northwest, from the northern part of Nigeria, they have been finding their ways down to the border of Yoruba land, where the supposed Yoruba towns, the border areas, right, have been under ceaseless attacks. Unfortunately, this doesn't really make much noise in their media in Nigeria, unfortunately, and disappointingly too. But there are so many questions to be asked. Hopefully, tonight, we can press the right button to bring this situation to limelight. Because yesterday, the Aare Kakanfo of Yoruba land, Iba Gani Adams, the leader of the OPC in Yoruba land, he didn't raise the alarm. He actually sent out a warning, and his own, in his own message, plus the Yoruba Council of Elders. I think they are now relying on the supposed number one security officer of your state, which is Solo Seyi Makinde, that if the governor says they have the intel that the Fulani terrorists, ISWAP terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, they are finding their ways down to Yoruba land, then that should be taken serious. For those who don't want to wait to become victims before they will realize that this is real. And like I said, this is not the first time that these elements have posed existential threats to us in Yoruba land. They have kidnapped our people repeatedly. we have paid ransoms to Fulani terrorists in particular. But here is a bit of a backstory, because I don't want to 100% kind of like make it look like they didn't do anything. But I said, in the past, we have seen the supposed people who are supposed to keep our people safe, the political class, who have, I believe, who have the, in quote, the constitutional power to keep us safe, protect us, fight for us, the Yoruba governors and the Yoruba political class. So in the past, when the Fulani terrorism was raging in Yoruba, especially in the northern part of Yoruba land, which is Oyo State, in the Oyo North, we were told by this same Iba Gani Adams, this is the backstory now, just to give you an idea of how we got here. And hopefully we will keep pressing the right pressure to make sure that these guys are not as lily-livered, as weak as they have always been again. So when these Fulani terrorists invaded Yoruba land, especially the northern part of Yoruba land, which is the Oyo, they took over the forest. It was Iba Gani Adams who first told us about 7 years ago, 7 years ago, that he had an intel that there were over 1,748 Fulani terrorist camps in Yoruba land. That was alarming, because around the time, our people were being kidnapped almost on a every day, like on a daily basis. People were paying ransom. Some others were being actually shot and killed by these terrorists. So, not that people didn't try to fight back, they did. However, it became a crime to actually fight back, to the point that those who tried to chase them away, the likes of Sunday Igboho and even the OPC guys, they had their noses bloodied. Igboho's properties got burnt, right? And people got killed inside his house. The OPC, OPC guys who even went after one of the notorious kidnapper in that same axis, they got him, and guess what? They were all locked up in Agodi prison in Ibadan, because they said they were non-state actors. Nobody gave them the authority to actually go after anyone, talk less of arresting anyone. That's the story. And that actually kind of concerned the Iba Gani Adams himself. But behind the scene, they said they have been facing serious backlashes, serious limitations. And it wasn't just the Gani Adams and others that are facing this, so even the governors. So at a point, sometime in 2019, they sum up courage by establishing the first forest rangers in Yoruba land, called the Amotekun. Now, this is where it got interesting. The Nigerian, this fake Nigeria kind of said in their own law that we gave our sovereignty to Nigeria. Therefore, right, it is the responsibility of Nigeria to protect us. Rather than for Nigeria to protect us, Nigeria was actually under Boko. Nigeria was fighting us, but protecting the terrorists, Fulani terrorists. So when the governors now came together, that they were starting what they called Amotekun, the forest rangers, those who have encountered these terrorists back then said these were AK-47 wielding terrorists. They were not artsmen. And since the Nigerian system recognizes artsmen, right? So it will now be the responsibility of us to separate the terrorists from artsmen. And how do you do that? By setting up your own security arm, arm them enough that they can also carry the same weapons that the terrorists are carrying, at least AK-47. This was where Boko and Malamu, this was where they came in. by reminding all of us that we had no right to defend. Oh, they reminded the governors that they had no right to do that. So it became a really contentious issue. However, the governors then, right, led by Akeredolu of Ondo, they were able to kind of maneuver their ways, okay, by using the State House of Assembly to enact laws that indeed established those Amotekun. There was a limitation. Immediately, Amotekun was set up. The northern Nigeria, they went crazy. They said the Amotekun was set up, and the setting up of Amotekun in Yoruba land was against the interest of northern Nigeria. They said it was set up, right, to attack the northern part of Nigeria, which means they said it was actually set up to kill the Fulanis. Remember, when the Fulani terrorists were ravaging Yoruba land, right, majority of them, they were backed. They said we were suffering from Fulani phobia. Anyway, the governors went ahead, but there was a limitation. What was that limitation? Okay, fine, go and set up your Amotekun, but they can only go about with kondo. How can you fight terrorists by carrying a kondo, like thick, where the terrorists you are facing, they are carrying AK-47? It became a contentious issue. I mean, it was so bad, right, that even the Miyetti Allah, the terrorist group called the Miyetti Allah, was offering in place of Amotekun. They are offering to protect Yoruba land for us. Yeah, that they can keep us safe. That we don't need Amotekun. As much as I kind of detested some of these Yoruba governors, I gave them that effort, that maneuvering, whereby they were actually able to set up Amotekun. Amotekun became more or less like a toothless bulldog that can bark but cannot bite. So in January, 5 years ago, 23rd of January, 2020, the Yoruba governors went on to go and meet the then Attorney General of Nigeria plus Boko, that Amotekun as a security, that is set up to prevent, to stop the destruction of Yoruba farms, Yoruba towns, and all that, right? They deserved to carry a proper arms. But they insisted no. You see, the GBT was so bad that was the moment I kind of, if you can remember, I reminded the Yorubas then that what exactly was the advantage, the supposed collaboration that APC, Egbekegbe, sold you in 2015, that they said the Yorubas and the North, they had a political arrangement. Was the arrangement meant to actually kill us, incapacitate us, weaken us for the invasion of this terrorist? Because the terrorists who have, like, according to the Ibagani Adams Deno, the terrorists who have occupied over 1,000, 700 or so camps, like cells, terrorist cells in Yoruba land. What was the intention? To just give them a go ahead one day, like a dog whistle. Oh yeah, finish them or what? So they went on to Abuja. I remember, I think I have the clip. Let's start with this. They went to Abuja then. And after the meeting, Malamu and the supposed governor from Southwest Nigeria said this.
For us? Yes, sir.
Just 1 minute, sir.
How did the meeting go? What is that? Which meeting?
We understand.
Honorable Attorney General, I think you need to
Okay,
come here.
AGF, sir. Okay. AGF, sir, how did the meeting go? Have you found a middle ground? Sir?
Wait.
Okay. Your Excellency, sir. How did the meeting go, sir?
When we held a very fruitful discussion. The governors of Southwest, as you know, were all there. The meeting was presided over by the Vice President, the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation was there, and the Inspector General of Police.
Sure.
So we have rubbed minds, and all of us have agreed on way forward. And most important one is that we are going to have the legal framework to back this Amotekun, and this legal framework is going to be one in which all of us look at, and we'll be sure that it goes without any hindrance.
So would that mean now that the establishment of this outfit has been put on hold until the legal framework is developed?
No, what I believe our decision is that Amotekun is there.
Yeah.
Amotekun will have to, the federal government is starting community policing, and it's more of, in essence, really, it's about community policing. So we're going to work together and see the community policing and Amotekun work in the way.
Okay.
Would you like to tell us why there were no such consultations before
the launch of the program?
No. There were consultations. Don't say there were no consultations. There were consultations.
Okay.
Because we had discussion with the IG there, and what has developed is what has led to this. Not that there were no consultations. We just felt that, look, with all this noise outside, it's better for us to sit down. I remember even immediately the noise started, I said that we are going to explore political solution. And all of us are here, my colleague, Deputy Governor of Oyo, who is of PDP, all of us are here. So we have looked at this solution to it now, political and legal solution to it. All of us will do it.
So what will you be telling your people that are already protesting out there?
Protesting about what?
Protesting, saying that the government is for. No, they're saying for it, saying that the government is trying to stop something that they want. What message do you have for
The
them?
government is not trying to
Attorney
stop.
General has clarified that.
The Attorney General has spoken. I'm sure you all read the statement that it was misinterpreted. So it's so clear. So there was no time. At no time the government wanted to stop Amotekun. That's what was go about it. And all of us believe that they don't want to stop Amotekun. And when the Federal Attorney General has spoken, it's all about us. So there's no problem.
Okay, maybe the Attorney General will set the record straight and
The record has been set straight by
the federal government's position from you, sir.
From you, sir.
And that was it. But guess what? The Amotekun corps, as they call them, remained paper tigers in Yoruba land, where they ever set them up. In Ondo State, they are almost like non-existent. In Oyo State, where they seem to have like a record of, existence, is almost the same. Paper tiger, where they ensured that they were never allowed to carry proper ammunition like automatic rifles. They were never allowed. In one occasion like that, they engaged with these terrorists in this northern part of Oyo State, the border towns. Yeah? And so many of these Amotekun men sustained a lot of injury, like all kinds of injuries. And most of the terrorists, they claimed to have apprehended around that time. Up to this moment, we have no idea, right, what happened to them. I mean, under Boko, even if you dare try to arrest, even if you dare arrest any of these terrorists, you are, by their law, you are expected to hand them over to the police. And by the arrangement, they are expected to be released, even without telling you. Now, let's now fast forward to a Yoruba man is your president now, Tifnumbu. So I was having a chat with someone a while back. Again, this person said something like, I think there are some of you that usually say that too, who are Yorubas. Like, you are not a supporter of Tifnumbu, but you don't really like him. But what Tifnumbu is doing right now for them, to them in the north, you are happy with that. You see, this my pal said, if not because of Tifnumbu, Yorubas will have no voice in Nigeria today. That was what he said. Then I said, what can you tell me the advantage of anything visible? Like, apart from giving appointment to his friends, it's, his cronies, which does not reflect on the generality of the Yorubas.